everyone.
Recording.
We are here today with Erin from Happinest Hire, and we are super excited to talk to her. Hi, Erin.
Hey girls, how you doing?
We're great. How are you?
I'm all good. I've got my gin. I'm in the back seat, hiding from the children.
Yes. Yes to that.
Tell us a little bit more about your company and how it started. Just a little bit of background.
Yeah, so Happinest, we started 4 years ago. It's always something that I was just always obsessed with weddings growing up. And I got married really young as well, planned my own wedding. And I worked in advertising for a little bit and then just kind of got pulled into the wedding industry, and I was just really drawn to it, especially the decor and the styling side of it, because I found that in my job in advertising, the creative side is what I really, really loved. And weddings were just this opportunity to create really unique and special moments for people. I started as a wedding planner because you needed all this capital to run a hiring business. You needed to buy all of these things in order to hire things out. But decor and hiring was always the goal. And it just slowly evolved. I slowly bought in new stock and built new connections in the industry with all the florists and the planners, and so that when we did launch the hiring side, I was super blessed because everyone in the industry was out. There were so many people that were my friends that supported it and helped it grow. We were just very lucky that when we launched the hiring side of the business, which is now the biggest part of the business, that it was very successful. And that's because of the awesome community of girls and a few men, but mostly women in our industry that supported us. So luckily my husband is a very big part of the business as well, Warren, and he is the one who has made and crafted and built all the arches, the candlesticks and all of that, and he has taught Simon, who works with us as well, to do all of those things. So together the two of them build and make all of these things come to life for us, which is really awesome. And Warren's of course also a professional electrician, so it just made sense to kind of enter into the picture as well. So yeah.
And I think it's such a cliche to say, but it is so nice for us as planners to actually have a one-stop shop, and a one-stop shop that we can actually book, and we know that the quality will be fantastic. The team on board is amazing and creative, and that the end product is really what we envisioned as planners with the bride, of course.
So, Erin,
Yes.
we asked you during this crazy time, because it's unprecedented times. None of us have really prepared for this. We've got kids at home. It's just hectic trying to balance work and home and housework and kids and homeschooling and all of that. So we asked you what your favorite pick-me-up or your go-to pick-me-up was, and your answer, and that is why I like you, was gin. So can you tell us a bit more? Cheers. Why is this your go-to? Does it have a story, or does it, tell us?
Not really. I think, my husband and I met when I was still a student, so we would go out a lot, and then our lifestyle kind of shifted into focus on business and babies and family. I had 2 kids in the space of 2 years, so drinking wasn't really part of the picture. Took a back seat, and I'm still not a huge drinker, but I love good gin, and I'm really fussy about my gin. So gin is the pick-me-up at the Turnbull household at the moment.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Erin, a question that we get so often as planners is sort of, what type of budget are we looking at? How on earth does furniture and hiring items cost this much? And I think it's important for us as planners to also just get behind how the sort of creative process works, what goes into a quote from your side, for instance, like per line item. If you can maybe elaborate a little bit about that and your process in terms of putting a quote together, just I think so that future clients can actually understand, it's not just us bringing in a few lounge pockets and plonking them down to look pretty. There's actually so much more to it, and how do we get to that final number?
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. Starting from the initial brief, sometimes we don't even get a fleshed out brief. We just kind of get like 2 pictures that the bride or the client likes, and it's our job to flesh that out into a mood board, into a lookbook, where we kind of explain concept, not only about color palette, but kind of style inspiration, and applying that to a wedding or an event. So the lookbook is a big part of it, costing it out as well. We don't only limit our clients to our collection. So if we are doing the full styling of an event, we also sub-hire. So that involves sourcing things, chatting and negotiating with other suppliers to sub-hire items. So that's what goes into the initial stages. And then specifically to Happinest, I think a lot of people think that we just store the items, they go out, they come back, and that's not all that happens. There is a lot of prepping and a lot of care that goes into it, because I am a huge perfectionist, so a lot of my team gets quite frustrated with me because before items go out or if we're on site, I will tweak and change and perfect until the quality of it, I'm happy with the quality of everything and the overall look. So even something as simple as a cocktail table, those are repainted for every single event. The guys sand them down, repaint them. And so yes, we do charge a premium, but it's just to ensure that all of our furniture and all of our items is always of a really high standard when it actually gets to an event. And I think that part of that process is just putting that extra eye of detail on the preparation and the transport and then offloading and all of that. So we have a very close team that I've trained really well, and that we are a family, and they all understand me and my perfectionist ways at this point. Also, all of our furniture gets cleaned every time it gets back. We have all of our in-house cleaning equipment for that, so all of the lounging and all of that gets cleaned every time. If anything's damaged, we deal with it. So yeah, we just want to make sure that when people are hiring from Happinest or they're using us as their stylist, that they can know that the product that they're getting at their wedding or at their event is of a really high standard, and that they don't need to worry about things being dirty or messy or scratched or really not up to standard. So we try really, really hard to kind of keep the quality levels really high.
I think the important thing that couples don't always think about is that not only do the guests use these items, they sit on the couches, they sit at the cocktail tables, they stand around in between, and it's really embarrassing if a guest should sit on something and it should break, or if they stand there and there's like paint chipped all over or whatever.
We are still new, so one of our pros at the moment is that all of our stock is still new. So everything's still relatively new and in very good shape, and I'm very specific about what's allowed to go out and what's not allowed to go out. So yeah, I definitely agree. The small details are really important, and I think handling is also important of the staff, kind of moving furniture items and things. And it's another element of the cost that I often get questioned on is the logistics side of it. Why are the logistics costs so high? And I mean, if anyone can think about what a mission it is to move, if you're moving house, you're moving 1 or 2 couches, a few chairs. Essentially, we can bring in up to 10 large 3-seater couches and 20 single-seaters and chairs, ottomans, rugs. We're moving so much in the space of a couple hours, and that just takes a lot of hands. So the logistics cost is often what catches brides and clients off guard. But I mean, if you compare it to moving a house when you're moving one lounge, it makes sense.
Often we are not actually just setting up on the day. It's a 2-3 day process to get it up and running, for us to just even start on the tables. I had a bride yesterday actually asking me if we can do a massive setup in a massive venue and be done by 2 on the same day. And I said to it's like
we've done that before.
But not 2 o'clock.
Not ideal. It's not ideal.
No.
I think you touched on a lot of the points. It's not just one trip out there, and it's also not just one vehicle. I think a lot of the times people think, cool, well, we're getting one truck out. My big truck can only take 3 passengers. So we need to bring, it can take a lot of furniture, but it's only legally allowed to carry 3 passengers. It's not just the one truck that you're paying for. It's a stylist vehicle. So if myself or Britt is coming out as a stylist, we try bringing as much crew as we can in the car. There's normally 2 to 3 vehicles bringing stock, and then 1 vehicle that's bringing stylist and a few crew members. So all of those things become a factor. The tolls as well for the trucks, if we have to go through the toll gates. So all of those things are factored into our travel and logistics cost as well.
Erin, thank you so much for joining us in your car and for helping us to understand budget from your perspective. I think a lot of our clients will find it really useful, because that is often the questions that we get, the why and the how. So thanks for explaining it to us. Good luck with the rest of lockdown. I hope you've got plenty of gin at hand. And we'll hopefully see you soon once we're all let out of our cages.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and for giving me an excuse to come hide out in my car and drink gin with the ladies. But yeah, I wish you all the best. I'm so excited for all the exciting briefs that we have for next season when all of this is over. I think it's so important that we look at the future and stay optimistic, because I think we're going to have some really beautiful weddings once all of this is over.
I will cheers to that.
Cheers.